So today's how-to is how to turn your twin engine boat with only one engine in a relatively small space. Why? Well, small spaces happen always at the moment that you lose an engine. So let's show you two techniques. The first one is what most people try, and it's not very effective. And then we'll show you a sneaky trick which might make you think, okay, that'll work on my boat. So we're going along and I'm going to lose the port engine. So that's gone back to neutral. I've now only got starboard. So naturally it wants to turn the boat to port. So I've got to steer to starboard to make it go straight. It's relatively narrow. So when I now try and turn to port, using my starboard engine, because that's the natural thing to do, as I put the wheel over, I'll even give it a couple of revs to see if that helps. And when I look out the window, I think, actually, I'm not going to make that. I'm going to hit those boats. So we pop it back in neutral, and all I've got left now is starboard astern. So when I go starboard astern, all that's happening is the boat is going back to exactly where I was. I haven't turned at all. I've got boats behind me, but I don't think it will work. So we'll go ahead again. Haven't changed the helm, still hard at port. Let's go ahead again. Still not going to get round. And when I go astern again, all that happens is I come back to where I was. So effectively, it's not working. And all I'm doing is shunting backwards and forwards. How are we going to solve it? Well, your boat's got rudders. Three things steer it. The engines are offset from the centre line, the props go outwards, and the rudders. So if you use those things for you, you can't use the offset, but you can use the props wash and the rudders to help turn the boat. So as you can see from our little demo there, when we had just a starboard engine and we tried to turn the boat the way the engine naturally wants to push us, so turning to port, we got about halfway round, and then that starboard engine, when we went astern, just made us come back to where we were. And when we did the second attempt, we got a bit further, and then we came back. And we can keep going, and eventually we might get it round. But we're trying to force the boat to do something it doesn't really want to do. Every time we go astern, it's making the situation no better. So a much better technique is to use the rudder on the boat. Now, if we put the boat with full starboard rudder, what will happen is if we get it going just a fraction quicker, so we get more water over that rudder, as we now turn the boat, that rudder action is working against what the natural reaction of that side engine is. When we run out of room, now when we go astern, this engine going astern because of prop wash and offset is dragging the stern of the boat around. And that means that we can actually get the turn done with two movements. Push across, let it run till we stop turning, go hard astern and drag it back round, and now we can drive off. So this time, same situation, just the starboard engine working. But I'm going to actually use the rudders to turn the boat. And then in astern, I'm going to use the offset and the prop wash to really help. And many people who drive a twin engine boat say they never use the rudders around the marina. They're not worth worrying about. I disagree with that. I think they're a marvellous thing. You don't often need them, but knowing how is brilliant. So firstly, I'm going to get a little bit more weight on. And the reason for that is I need a little bit more water going over my rudder to make it really effective. So just going a fraction quicker. And then same amount of room, just coming up. There's a couple of boats on the starboard side, so they'll be acting as my brake zone. We'll look round, make sure I'm not going to cut anyone up. And then what we're going to do, we're going to put the wheel hard over to starboard. There it is, that's as far as it will go. And then I'm going to ease the revs back to neutral. Now all the time I'm going forward, that rudder's still driving my bow round. We've got a nice breeze, so that's all trying to slow my turn and not make it happen. Still turning, I'm looking at the bow against the background, still turning, and I'm using all the space, same as I did last time. And this time when I go astern, that prop wash is going to drag my stern around for me. So into astern, that engine in astern is really working for me. We're pulling on that corner and we're driving the boat round. Haven't changed the helm. Boat's coming round really quite nicely. using all the river and into neutral. Now when I go ahead, the engine wants the boat to steer that way, but as soon as I get a little bit of way on in ahead, there we are, just starting to move forward, I can steer. Boat's round beautifully, I'm facing the other way. So the key thing there was to use all the river using the rudder and then a little bit of revs in the stern to drag the stern round. There we are, we're into the element, full control. So go the same direction as the engine. So we only had a starboard engine, turn to starboard. Only had a port engine, I turn to port. Position your boat, little bit more revs to make the rudder work, drive it round, a stern to bring the stern round. Works a treat.